Cool.
Okay, were you ready to get going, dude?
Yeah, let's get going.
All
Episode
right.
136, the HGA free
136.
webinar series. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Trevor Nelson, Jason Ledlow, HGA Fundraising. You want to go ahead and explain what happened to our
Yeah,
distinguished
so
guest?
as you can see, I've got this really handsome, bespangled gentleman behind me.
A
His
handsome
name
guy.
is
He is a handsome guy.
so Dean Crownover, and Dean Crownover was our guest. We put it out there, said he was going to be here today, and Dean had something that got crosswired on a scheduling thing and couldn't be here. It was something that he
Yeah.
couldn't do. He was very apologetic about it. So we're bringing him here in spirit. We've even got his book right
Yeah.
here.
Great book, actually. Yeah.
Paddles Up. Yeah, it
Yep.
is actually really very, very thoughtful.
Yeah.
A lot of good information
Hey, I
here.
didn't even think about this. I don't know if you did that by design or not. He actually writes about the golden ticket in the
He
book.
does. Yeah, he does.
I
Well,
didn't. I
that's
totally
why
spaced that.
that's why
That's
we
right.
wanted him to come
Yeah.
on because
Yeah.
as we're doing this. But first, let's get a couple of things out of the way. You want to get our
Please.
housekeeping out of the way?
Yeah, let's do some housekeeping. Obviously, number one, state of the end and win. We're going to give away an item that you can use at your next fundraising events. This is a live webinar. It's going to be recorded and it's going to be shared with everyone that registered within the next, say, 24 hours. It's also going to live forever on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, I should say, at HGA Fundraising.
Well, a lot of people watch it on the YouTube channel, actually.
100%. And so do us a favor. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel in the coming days, coming months, what have you, like I said, it's going to live on forever in our catalog of fundraising thoughts and shows and guests and all that good stuff. Do me a favor, just go ahead and press the subscribe button and then leave us a comment. Leave us a question about the golden ticket, and you can always reach out to us if you have any questions about this content or any others or any other fundraising strategy. You can just go to hgafundraising.com, click on the free coaching button, and spend some time with Jason or myself or even both of us. We give our time away for free on a weekly, daily basis with folks talking about things like the golden ticket and how easy it can be to raise money this way using this strategy, for instance. And yeah, we've got some really cool data we want to share about the golden ticket. It's something we call it the easiest way to raise money, frankly.
Yeah, well,
that's what
we wanted to talk about this because a lot of times people get caught. They think, well, it's just another raffle, and the reality is, it is not.
It's
It
a
is not
strategy.
just another
Yeah.
raffle. This is a strategy, and we're going to go through multiple things.
Yep.
About doing it. So the first thing is, we say it's just not another raffle. We really mean that. It is. There's a lot of ways you can make money with it, and this is something that we were going to have Dean specifically speak about. And I know what Dean's strategy is, and it's very effective. So I'm going to share that with you as we come to it. Yep. But the first thing is you got to have something to raffle off. So that's kind of the idea. We had somebody just a guest that was on the webinar here a while back, and she'd asked the question. She said, "I've got these 2 George Strait tickets. They're like, the front row or 2 George Strait,
first few rows,
sold out, yada yada." And she said, "What should I do with these?" And we're talking about it, and I said, "Well, just have a golden ticket. Do it to make that your golden ticket." And the reason was, I asked the question. I said, "Will it bring $5,000-$6,000? Do you have more than do you have $5,000 or $6,000 bidders in your
live auction?"
And she said, "Well, I'm not really sure. It's probably about the most." I said, "Then just raffle it off." I said, "Make it your golden ticket." And oddly enough, we checked before the webinar started, and she's already raised her deal's not till the 4th. The event's not even to the 4th. They've already sold $5,600 in tickets.
Yeah.
So it's already brought more than anything that they could ever do
in the live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about this, jewelry is a really interesting one. A lot of times, we'll get a piece of jewelry donated. Jewelry in a live auction is really tough because it's very much in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes
Specific
art
demo
can be that way. Whereas somebody might say, "Well, I'll give $100 for a shot at it, but I'm not going to give 5,000 or 10,000."
Did you say art? Did you say art?
Yeah, I think you could
like a really great 1 of 1 or something. Those are
yeah.
awesome,
I mean, I think
right?
it just really depends. Like there's just a lot of things that you could do when it comes up that might not bring that value in the live auction, because maybe you don't have those, you may not have a $50,000 buyer or $20,000 buyer or a $10,000 buyer. And really you need to have more than one. You need to have 3 or 4 or 5.
Totally. Yeah.
Or to do that.
Capacity.
So,
yep.
And, but this way you really get it out there. That's why, and we do talk about, using one of our items, a consignment item, and I'll talk about how
Yeah. When
The
that's
reason
a good
is,
time. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so the first thing is, you kind of have to have an item. If you've already got something, but what, we recommend is you commit to the strategy first. Commit to doing the strategy. This is going to be one of our fundraisers because you're going to raise $10,000 to $25,000 or even more, depending on that.
Yep.
Okay. So first is just to commit to the strategy itself. So we're just going to do this golden ticket strategy. Call it whatever you want to.
Yep.
I started calling it the golden ticket because we'd had a little Willy Wonka clip that we would play, where Charlie running around going, "I've got a golden ticket."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just fun to do before we would actually have the information.
Yeah.
So that's
You can
number
create a
one.
cool moniker for it though, if you
Yeah.
want. There's no, the phraseology is not in stone, but it seems to work really, really well being the golden ticket for us.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun. So the second thing is get it underwritten. So, this is a big part where a lot of times with raffles, we don't get them underwritten. And for a lot of organizations, they've never really worked. And we're not talking about sponsorship. Sponsorships is selling tables, doing that. Underwriting is where things that cost you money, things that, are opportunities to raise money, that people get to underwrite that thing. Even if it doesn't cost you anything, you can still get it underwritten.
Yeah.
You could have two underwriters. You could have the donor of the item and then have somebody come on top of it and underwrite it as well, raise a lot more money.
And now it's the golden ticket presented by, and that's a lovely, lovely approach. A lovely approach.
We had our golden ticket, just our standard golden tickets, $2,000, $1,995. And we had a client that they underwrote it for $5,000. They got two people that underwrote it for $2,500 a piece.
Yep.
So a significant way. And if you're trying to kind of start, you've never really done the underwriting thing and you're really wanting to do it, it's a really easy thing to explain and get people to get on board. And donors love it. People that you have a bank. Okay, here's a great example. There's you've got a community bank or a local bank. They don't always want to buy a table because they have to buy, they underwrite, work with 10, 12 organizations a year, maybe more. And if you have to fill a table up 10, 12 times, it really gets fatiguing. And so what are they doing? They walk down there to the tellers and they go, "Hey, anybody want to go get free dinner and drinks tonight?" And you've just lost out on that opportunity for that table. So it's a great way. Go to your, banks are really good. Businesses are great for this because they want to be seen, and you go put the money out there and they go, "Yeah, please. We'll love to do that." So underwriting. Yep.
Great idea. No matter what, get the item underwritten, because let's just say let's get into the weeds even a little bit more about that. Jay, you said let's just say the cost for the item that you want to use as the golden ticket prize is $2,000. You can get it underwritten for $2,000 or more. The appeal to the underwriter, not sponsor, pardon me, but the underwriter or organization or bank is, hey, you're going to invest this $2,000 and give us the opportunity to raise, let's just say $10,000, because we're going to sell 100 tickets for $100 a piece and announce the winner before the live auction. So that's the appeal and the pitch, so to speak, to that underwriter, which works really, really well. So, and then, I wanted to make sure that we got this out of the way as well, is that, our approach, the mechanics of it, and I could be putting the cart in front of the horse, Jays, have a set dollar amount for the tickets for folks to buy, the price point. And there's also two ideologies about having how many tickets you're going to make available.
Yeah. It's really good you brought that up. So we always recommend you sell, I always say 100 tickets for $100 or 100 tickets for $250. If you want to raise more money, just raise the price of the ticket.
Yep.
But Dean, if he were here, would tell you that's not what he does at all. He doesn't recommend that at all. And I'll tell you what he does.
Yeah.
He just sells an unlimited number of tickets.
Yep.
And I'm saying he gets the organizations
at his events.
And
like the event that he's at right now.
He's out of Atlanta. He works with nonprofits all over the country. He is a auctiontainer, really well thoughtful. Like I said, he wrote a book called Paddles Up. Great strategies. It's not all about him. It's just about strategies to raise money. And
one of his strategies is this.
I'll give you at the end. I'll give you where you can go get the book for free. So I'll get you where you can.
Yeah. I think it's just it's mybenefitauctioneer.com.
Yeah, My Benefit Auctioneer. And it's just got a free link. You can download a PDF of it and read the book for free. So where I'm going with that is you've got sell 100 tickets for $100. But what Dean does And let me back up for just a second. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I say 100, and then I'll talk about Dean's strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say this is what we as a company, we do. And so we take this idea of a limited number. There's only 100 of them, and there's only 1 in 100 chance. People start thinking about the odds. Well, that's pretty good odds. If it's 1 in 1,000, it's not so
There's
good.
Scarcity,
But people still buy stuff. They buy the lottery. You've got more chances, the better chance of getting struck by lightning twice than seriously. It's like than winning the lottery. But yet people keep buying Powerball because we see the $1 billion giveaways and stuff.
There's something psychologically driven here where I don't know why. It's the price point. It's fun. Mm-hmm. If it's advertised correctly, the attitude and the alacrity that folks have to buy these golden tickets at events, pre-event, is really, really strong. Just because they enjoy the game of chance, I suppose. You know what I mean?
And here's the simple thing. So you sell 100 tickets, you raise $100. Don't do it for less than $100. If somebody can give 50, they can give 100.
Yeah.
If you can't do for 50, you probably need to do a different fundraiser, different strategy all the way around, because you're just you don't have that crowd there. But I promise you can sell them. Because even if you sell 50 tickets for $100, that's $5,000. Mm-hmm. People go, well, I want to sell 25 tickets. Okay, you'd have to sell 200 to raise the same
$25 tickets. You mean $20 tickets?
Yeah. So I mean, it's the transaction time takes same. So we're going to say 100 tickets. Let's say that the night of the event, and just have people use their bidder number, not cash, not a card, because it takes too much time. Just put it on their bidder number, and when they do put it on their bidder number, they'll do it. They'll buy, and make it really simple. Because I've got my drink in one hand. I can't reach and get in my pocket. I don't have the 100. And how do I get a credit card? It takes a long time. People go, catch me later.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. Yeah. Here's my number.
They've already checked in. They got the bidder number. Yep. And then you also recommend, let's get into that mechanics of it though, Jay. You also recommend, we recommend starting to sell the tickets pre-event. So you can get some pre-committed dollars in the door. If there's any tickets left over, which not inevitably, but a lot of times there will be, even if you sold 80 tickets pre-event, there's still going to be 20 left over the night of. When folks are checking in, you've always said, and I thought it was great, right when they're done with check-in, there's someone asking, hey, do you have your golden ticket yet?
Absolutely. You hit them up right, get them right there.
Hey, we're going to announce the winner of this golden. Oh, what is it? We got this great easel right here. Here's the opportunity to win a piece of jewelry or a really cool experience.
Force them to make a decision right up front. And the reason is it's something easy for them to do. And they go, yeah, sure. Here you go.
And the price point's so digestible. Even if it's $100, $250, we've seen all sorts of golden tickets go up to, $1,000 a ticket, for instance. Just depends on the crowd. We are saying, though, I'm just reiterating your point, the floor has to be $100 per ticket.
Yeah. Just any less than that, the numbers don't really work.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got 100 tickets. You're forced them to go by there. Don't give it to people and have them walk around and sell tickets. It doesn't work.
Sure.
It does not work. That is not a viable strategy in this scenario, because we don't have enough time. You think about it. Let's say the doors open at 6.
Okay.
People start coming at 6:30.
Okay.
Let's say 6:30, they're checking in. Where are they going? They're going to go get a cocktail. They've checked in, got their stuff, find their table, go in the deal. And then they're walking around looking at silent auctions. They're going back to the bar. We got to, visit with, they're seeing people. We go to see and be seen there. We're doing all this stuff. So one person just walking around trying to sell, it's really it's tough. It's really, really hard. And then you're having to interrupt conversations. You're having
almost an afterthought, almost kind of becomes an afterthought. It sounds like
really, you're going to struggle to, you got to, let's say you have to ask 120 people, because there are a couple people are going to say no. If you just to ask 100 people, even if they all say yes, it's difficult to get around and find that many people. It just is.
So get them early, get them often, right when they check in. And before they're even, going to the bar and getting seated, get them to buy their golden ticket. Now, as far as once again the mechanics or fundamentals, people are going to wonder, when do we announce the winner for the golden?
Winner's going to be we're going to announce the winner during the live auction. That's what I was saying. We're going to announce the winner in the live auction. And the reason we want to do that is because let's just say that you've sold 80 tickets and you have 20 tickets left. So is the auctioneer's going to get up and say, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to draw the golden ticket? I recommend it's the first thing that you do, because it's going to get everybody's attention.
It's also exciting.
Yeah. And, and you go, okay, everybody, who's got your golden ticket? And everybody raise their hand. Hey, guess what? We've got 100 tickets. We've sold 80. We've still got 20 tickets left. That you get that out of your mouth. Literally, the auctioneer will say that, and there will be somebody raising their bid paddle up with their number on it.
Perfect.
And you go, I've got 19 because 187 just bought one. I've got 19 left. Come on, we're going to raise $10,000, and everybody raised their deal. And I'll tell you, to make my point about the thing about somebody walking around selling tickets.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I was working an event. That's what they had. They had a couple of nice young ladies who were walking around selling tickets. They sold 17 tickets before the event started. I'm talking about at the event. They didn't pre-sell any tickets, sold 17.
83 tickets left over.
83 tickets left. And from the auction, with the microphone, I sold 83 tickets. Took 5, 6, 7 minutes. We sold 83 tickets, raised, actually, these are $200 tickets. It was $20,000.
Cool.
We raised 20 grand, and everybody, the room went crazy. Okay, because we got it. So don't be afraid if your ticket sales are slow, because you're going to sell them from there.
Yeah,
but when
it comes to that, and then once again, hey, listen, what if you only sell 80 tickets? If you got the item donated, you just made 8,000. If you sold, 100, if you sold $100 tickets. If you,
where else you're going to have an item that'll sell for 4,000 or 5,000, raise you 10,
at the beginning of your event? We think it's very exciting. It gets the juices flowing, so to speak. It's definitely part of the golden hour of fundraising. Does anyone? I just want to do a quick call, Jay. If anyone has any questions about the mechanics, the price point, using items. If you came in a little bit late, we were discussing, how you could use a donated piece of jewelry. You've seen the watch, a Rolex, be raffle offer or used as a golden ticket strategy to great success. We have trips and experiences that we recommend as well that work really well. We did use the George Strait example for a client of ours that got a couple of George Strait tickets donated. So there's a lot of different options. It's the strategy that counts. But if there's any questions about that strategy, there's a chat feature, Q&A function at the bottom. Feel free to ask away about the mechanics of it.
Well, let me just explain something real, because I want to give a contrast. So what Dean does, and this is not wrong, okay? I'm just telling you, this is not a right, wrong, or you have to do it one way or the other, because I'm a fan of both.
Yeah.
So what Dean does is Dean doesn't put a cap on it. They sell unlimited tickets, and he typically he reports back that he typically sells 120 to 130 tickets every time. So what that tells you is there's an extra $2,000 or $3,000 that he's raising over and above what we're talking about at 10.
Typically at the $100 price point.
Yep. 2 to 3. Yeah, I think he always does about $100.
About $100. Yep.
And so, we're not here suggesting. For me personally, I think it's fun to celebrate and say we're trying to raise. You can still say 10 grand, but we're going to raise as much as we can. But he does it more, and so he's just raising them a couple of extra $2,000 or $3,000, sometimes even more than that. I mean, he sold many more. Because he said his point was, if the room gets rocking, he said, I don't want people to start talking. I want them to keep on giving. And so let's just keep that deal going. It's pretty good. And I really think that, that strategy is really,
he's uncovered something really cool.
Thoughtful. Yeah.
So he does recommend a tripper experience. I will say that, usually a consignment opportunity. And the reason why he recommends grabbing a consignment opportunity, like a really cool trip to Europe or something like that, his price point, his happy place, is about $2,500 to $3,000 as far as the reserve or the cost to the organization. Once again, that you can get underwritten, that initial cost. And then why does he choose an item that can be sold more than once? Jay, explain what he does.
So what
when Dean he announces the winner
is Dean. So here's what Dean, his whole program, and I'll say for the most part, I don't want to speak for him because he's not here, but I'll just say, based on my time, with Dean having these discussions about raising money, most of it's in his book, golden ticket, then he's either going to do the fund to need. Typically he likes to do fund to need before the live auction. It's just his where he likes to do it. Fund to need, live auction starts. He'll sell 1 or 2 items, and then all of a sudden he'll come back and go, hold on a minute, I just got a phone call just on my phone. It just popped up. That golden ticket we just raffled off. We just got informed that we are going to be able to sell that again
as a live auction. I'm just going
to auction off. And so, like he did Porto one day, Portugal of ours.
Yep.
Turns around and sells it. So they did the golden ticket. Then they raised like $12,000. Then he sells it, and he sells it like 6 times.
Yeah. at another
sells it at a
at a
price
profit
for
of, for
$6,000.
yeah,
They're
another
making, no, it's like $5 grand.
profit.
They were
Yeah.
making about $2,500 a piece every
Yep.
time.
Yep.
So he makes another $15,000 on top of that, net money to the nonprofit on top of that. So,
Yep.
and he gets them to underwrite it. So he's raised, had him underwrite it. So there's $5,000. Let's just use that. So there's five. Then he sells, 120 tickets. So there's $12,000. So now we're at 17. Then he sells the same trip again. Net's $2,500. Net's $15,000. So $32,000 to the bottom line. Well, less the deal, 30 grand when it's all said and done. $30,000 net money.
Awesome.
That's hard to duplicate with anything else. There's no other strategy that you can hit those many different donors in that way that really affects donors at all levels. So you've reached out to your underwriting crowd, you've got your $100 givers, and you've also got your auction buyers.
Your live auction.
Right there, you've hit, it touches all places, and it just raises a lot of money.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and we're not telling you that can be sold multiple times. That's how Dean does it to great success. Just so everyone's clear.
Well, we think there's a reason to, I'm not, we're not, if you use our stuff, somebody else's, that's fine.
Totally.
We don't care.
It's the strategy that's important.
But the strategy is the piece.
But just so everyone's clear, if you haven't done anything like this before, you're not doing that with a donation item. You're only raffling it off, or choosing the golden ticket winner once with a donated item. If you were going to sell it in the live auction, you'd have to have the opportunity to sell it more than once, just so everyone's clear on the mechanics.
Here's a real interesting thing. So I'm going to tell you about this organization, or a little study that we did. This is in 2019. Or it was right around 2019. We took numbers from 17 and 18 and compared them of these organizations. And 2018, they were raising $20,000 to $50,000 more year over year. All these same organizations, and we were sitting there going, "What difference? What is the one thing?" The number one thing that they did was implement a golden ticket.
Yep.
A golden ticket strategy. That was the number one over thing. I mean, maybe they sold a little bit more tickets here. Maybe they did this. Sure. Bottom line, though, the number one thing that they did was the golden ticket.
Yeah, the advent of another revenue enhancer.
It was just because they were getting underwritten. They were selling, 100 tickets, and then they were auctioning it off, and it was raising $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 more. And it's just such a really strong, powerful thing that it's almost like you just have to do it. Go ahead. If you're not even doing let's just say that you're just doing a fund to need. Still do this. This is something that you can do on top.
It's just too easy. I don't want to call it low hanging fruit because I don't want to be dismissive. It really is too easy of a strategy to implement. It's way too effective to ignore.
Well, here's one we did. So this is we were involved with an organization. They sold 100 tickets for $250.
I wanted to talk about different price points with you. Yeah.
They raised $25,000. They got it underwritten. I believe they got it underwritten for $10,000. I don't remember exactly the number, but it was over $5,000. I know it was over $5,000. Okay. They got it underwritten. Then during the live auction, they sold the item. And here's what was interesting. All the items, and the only way it worked out was this way. So they sold all the items. They only had one consignment item in the live auction. Everything else was art and these dinners and stuff. They had this one item. That's the item that the lady chose. She did it. She goes, "This is what I want." The live auction starts. When they got to that part of it, it sold 5 times for $10,000, doubled their money on that. They raised $50,000 in the live auction and $25,000. This is net dollars. $25,000 in that. So one item, $75,000. Mind-boggling.
Awesome. Yeah, it's crazy.
It literally doubled. They doubled the event from the year before, and it was that one strategy, that one thing that did it.
I want to get your opinion about that. I was going to ask you. You mentioned the anecdote about the $250 price point, which we think is awesome. It's not a stretch if you have the right room. Trust us.
It's been easier to sell at $250 tickets than $100 tickets.
Yeah, the break-even point's lower in our case. Actually, I can get in the weeds on that with you. But So if you've
Yeah,
never,
that's one thing I do.
yeah,
Can we
yeah,
touch
go
on that
ahead.
real quick?
Yeah, please.
If you're going to if you want to raise more money, give a higher price item.
Sure, of
Okay.
course. Yeah,
It doesn't have to be dollar for dollar. Like our golden ticket, we call it a premium golden ticket. It's $4,000. So it's double
yeah,
the price, but
yeah.
you're more than doubling the ticket. We recommend $250.
$250. Sell 100 tickets for
Um,
$250 and raise 25,000. Yeah.
$25,000. Yeah. So
Which
it's,
we recommend this if it's the right room.
uh
And then we also recommend, I notice a lot of times, because we work with we're so fortunate with our clients and the organizations we get to work with, we work with them year in and year out. And so if no one's ever used the golden ticket strategy before, we recommend the $100 ticket price point,
mhm.
just so we can get some data and get a win, so to speak, under our belt. And then once it's been proven to us that we have the capacity at the events, and someone's going, and multiple donors, obviously 100 donors are willing to buy $100 tickets, then we'll introduce the $250 price point maybe at the next event the following year.
Mhm.
We've also seen organizations, because there's no rules. There's no rules. I mean, it's all about raising money, and I mean in the best possible way. We've seen organizations, like we had a Habitat for Humanity event in North Carolina where they sold $100 ticket 100 times, and they sold a $250 golden ticket 100 times,
Yeah, they did both
and they
of them.
raised $35,000. And what that proved to me, and that's not the only time it's ever
Mhm.
happened, what that has proven to me is folks like different price points. Donors, when I'm saying donors or folks, they like
Mhm.
different price points. They like making different, sizes of investments. You're tapping into a completely different budget than the fund a need budget, the live auction budget, the silent auction budget. It's completely different. And it's fun. It's fun. And folks like that opportunity to win. So, that's another, glass half full, widening the lens, so to speak, approach. Hey, have more than one price point with more than one prize. It works,
Oh
and
yeah.
don't be afraid to twist the dial from one year to the next either on
You
what you're
know,
asking for per ticket.
I'm going to give you a real quick. If your tables are selling for 5,000, if you're selling $5,000 tables and you've got 300 or more people coming to your event,
You got it.
so 300 people, do the $250 golden
You
ticket.
got it. Yeah, you got it.
Because if your tables are selling for that, you've got the right capacity.
And
You've got
Jason,
capacity in the room to do it. So just
before someone's asked in their
Mhm.
mind, or later on, or what have you, you don't include a free ticket with the purchase of a table, correct?
No.
No.
You talking about the underwriting?
No, I'm talking about when folks buy a table and there's the golden ticket.
Oh
Don't give
no,
away
don't give them a
things like the
ticket.
tickets or the
Don't Yeah.
opportunity. Yeah,
Everybody
don't do
wants to
that.
make a
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Don't negotiate with yourself. That's what
Mhm.
we call it. Trevor and I talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
Let's not negotiate with ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like underwriting. You don't need to give any tickets or a table away when
Don't
you
give
do
anything
underwriting.
away.
Now, if
Yeah.
somebody asks, "Hey, well, can I get a couple of tickets with it?" Sure.
That's a
That's okay. You don't have
conversation,
to
not
do
a
it, but don't offer
negotiation.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But don't negotiate with yourself when it comes to fundraising.
And don't leave money on the table, I guess, is my point. I hope that made sense. My
Well,
harebrained
we've
question.
got a client, and she does not. She's real matter of fact.
She
If
is.
you want to buy a table, that's extra.
That's a
If you're
table.
going to
Yeah.
underwrite something or
Yeah.
if you're underwriting, that's what
Yeah.
it is. If you
Yeah.
want to do a tape, buy a sponsorship and get a table, that's a separate deal. They're not
Yeah.
the same. She
Yeah.
said this is a fundraiser, not just a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So we want
She
to have
also
fun,
said
but it's
she,
fundraiser.
she also says she doesn't just want a bunch of eaters and drinkers at her events
Yeah.
either. And she
Yeah.
does a lot
So,
of them. Yeah.
well, and
She
that's
is, like
why
I said, she's very matter of fact about it, and it
Well,
works
that's
for
why
her.
underwriting is such a powerful tool, because you can go
Yeah.
out to sponsors and what's the one what is the one thing you say, hey, hey, Trevor, hey, it's Jason with, we're having our nonprofit fundraiser coming up. We've got our big gala. It's real
Mhm.
exciting. It's going to be on November 9th. And you go,
Mhm.
hey, man, sorry, I can't do that. I'm going to be out of town.
Mhm.
And you go, okay, well, maybe next year. Click.
Mhm.
Hey, that's not a problem at all. I've got some great opportunities for you to underwrite. You guys don't even have to be here. So, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to, your email the same. I'm going to shoot over this list to you, and here's some ways you can underwrite. And the
Yeah.
golden ticket hasn't been taken yet, and I think you ought to look at it. I
I
mean,
love it. I love it.
it's such an easy way to get people to do it, because it really does. They come up and somebody goes, well, I'm out of town, because they've never been given an opportunity to give except to
Mhm.
buy a table.
Yeah.
And I had a
Yeah.
guy come to me,
Totally.
to tell you how powerful this is. There's in the one of the utility companies here in where I live in Oklahoma. It's owned by a big group, and they have to give away money. They have to by law because they're a monopoly.
Correct.
So they have to give away
banks too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to give away a certain amount of money to do it by statute. They have to. So they're out looking to do it. He said, I hate buying tables.
Yeah.
I hate it. He goes, give me another way I can do it. And we're like,
totally.
Well, here, just underwrite this.
Yeah.
Here's a golden to underwrite this. And he's like, I'll do them all.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. To that point,
and he was like, if it's $2,500, I'm in. And he just right there, all of a sudden, 10 nonprofits got $25,000 because he just didn't want to buy a table. Yeah. And it wasn't that he didn't want to go, but he said, he goes, number one,
I got to fill it.
Well, I'm single. Okay. Yeah. So then I got to find a date.
Yeah.
Then I've got to go find,
six other people, six other couples. I got to get dressed up.
Yeah. I got to get dressed up. I got to do it. And I got to try to do that 12 times a year. He goes,
like, that's a lot.
Kind of, it gets a little old.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Because he wants to be a good steward. He doesn't want to be, bring eaters and drinkers. He wants to bring people that are going to actually do something. So
it's a creative approach. I also think to that point, Jason, when you're talking about the underwriting and what have you, when you're approaching companies local to you or what have you, or regionally to you, and you're giving them these opportunities to participate and underwrite the event, you're tapping into their marketing budget. Because if they're going to underwrite your golden ticket item, for instance, it's the golden ticket now presented by company XYZ. And the pitch to them, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, was, by them underwriting this item, you're going to give us the nonprofit the opportunity to raise $10,000. So it's a huge win. And once again, you're tapping into their marketing budget, not their giving budget. So because you're going to give them the shine and the, all the accolades that go along with it, and the social media posts, that typically come along with that, in the program, it's the golden ticket presented by company or organization XYZ. So it's just kind of a no-brainer, of course. And that one point that you made about folks and the daunting nature of buying all these tables and filling all these tables that banks and the utility company faces and other organizations face, they're all getting the same pitch from organizations all the time. Being different is a gift. Being different will end up paying huge dividends if you're offering different opportunities to give. And that we always say, we call it interrupting the loop. If it's the same loop over and over and over again, to get folks on, onto your track, so to speak, you got to offer them something unique, something impactful, and something that makes them, go, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was an option. That's huge. So,
you get tied up into this thing. And here's the thing. What is your mission? It's to raise, the mission of the gala. We're there to celebrate and we're there to raise awareness, but we're there to raise money, to power our mission, to go do what it is. And it's just nothing that we can find that's just more effective than that. There's just not one thing. We've been talking about these strategies. This is one, like we talked about last champion in the last week. This one, it's the same thing with this. You can have the world's best auctioneer, and they just can't make that $2,000 trip raise you $35,000 net money. They just can't.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't matter how good it is. It's just not going to do that well. And it takes a little bit of work, but everything does. It's all hard.
Yeah. This is minimal in comparison.
Professional fundraisers out there, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard work. And so we know, you're doing this, you start doing, the lack of sleep and the stress and everything going on. So I would just recommend, if you're going to do something, it's just a great strategy to raise more money.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't, once again, just so everyone's clear, I want to do a call for questions.
Yeah.
Because we're going to announce a winner in a few minutes and all that.
Hey, and if you agree or disagree, that's okay. We're fine with that.
If you hate the golden ticket, let us know.
Yeah. And you don't have to call it that. It's just what we call it. But leave us a comment, let us know, and we want to hear about it. If you had success with it, we'd love to hear that too.
Yep.
Because that's the biggest thing is I think last year we sold, of just the $100 golden ticket, just our side, we sold 150 of them. So that's, $150,000 that was raised just off. No, that's not even right, is it? What's 150 times 10,000?
Yeah. That's presupposing they all sold out in tickets as well.
So it's $1.5 million. We're pretty sure. I was going to say is out of those.
Yeah.
I bet there's less than 10 that called us and said we didn't sell out of tickets.
Yeah, let's just say,
We only sold 75 or 85, and they saw it as a
yeah,
huge, because their
yeah.
event was small. It was a very huge
Yeah, we're still talking about over
opportunity.
$1 million raised with such a simple
Yeah,
product.
1.5 million, that
Yeah,
they're raising
yeah,
with that. So it's just a
absolutely.
really good strategy. So
Also, I want, we talk about this a lot, but I think it bears mentioning again. This is not going to cannibalize any other part of your fundraising efforts or any other revenue enhancers,
no,
just so
not at
you're
all.
aware. Okay. So this is an
Yeah.
additive. It's and just so we're very, very clear, and you could disagree with us on this, but I'm a little bit more persistent. I know we are, you and I, in lockstep with this. The budget, so to speak, of where folks are, where it's coming from, where folks are buying golden tickets. It's not robbing you of the fund to need success. It's not robbing you of the silent auction or live auction success either. We're
No, it
tapping into
raises all
different
boats.
budgets. We're tapping into different budgets all the way across the board, just so everyone's clear on that.
Well, okay. I gave that example, 2017 to 2018. We did a study of about 75 events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really had all the data, analyzed it down. Of those, they averaged about $35,000 increase one year over the next. The one thing that we were able to come down to was the golden ticket.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was the biggest change.
Kind of a
They
no-brainer.
didn't change the number of items. They didn't go up in their sponsorship. They didn't do all this stuff. They added the golden ticket, and on average, but it raised all. But in other words, that was raised all boats. Yeah, that was the amazing thing about it. It was it rising tide raises all boats, and so.
Hey, let's get into the fundamentals too. Before we announce a winner, Jay. So let's say you're using mobile bidding software. It's very easy to sell golden tickets pre-event, during the event, using software. I was actually, we do mention this to everyone that we do a consult with regarding the golden tickets. We mentioned to put the purchase, the ticket option on your auction site right next to the straight donation, because of the price point, the nature of the price points. Let's just say it's $100. Put it right at the top, just so there's a lot of
just that way they'll have to dig for it. They can, it's first thing they see.
Yeah, precisely. And advertise it. Use your social channels to the folks that are tied into the mission that way. Send it out in an email blast. You have the technology at your fingertips to send it out via text now as well. So make sure that you're reminding folks to pick up their golden tickets and buy their golden tickets, even if they're not going to be at the event. So a tremendous way to raise a bunch of money. So yeah, we do mention that a lot. I wanted to, sounds minor, but it could be wildly impactful. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, unless we've got any questions, I think we've kind of nailed every bit. We talked about first getting your item, how to get it underwritten.
Yep.
Selling 100 tickets or maybe more, depending on what you want to do. Yep. And then selling it at the live auction, that same item, bringing it back.
If it's an item that you can
because I will tell you, people start psychologically, they start thinking about when. It's no different than buying a lottery ticket, and you start thinking, what if I won $1 billion? Wow.
I think that all the time.
I mean, it does. I mean, I've bought probably 5 in my life. I don't normally buy them, but because I know I'd get struck by lightning first.
Yep.
So, but people do, and so it's really fun if they're up there and you go, hey, you were already thinking about what you were going to do, and you were disappointed because Joe won it and you didn't. He said he's not taking you. So what are we going to do? Here's your opportunity to buy it, and people eat that stuff up.
Yeah, totally. Especially
really good success.
Yeah, just because someone bought $100 ticket and lost doesn't mean they have they don't have the capacity to buy it as a live auction item for $4 or $5.
They do all the time. All the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we've even had them in we've had them in, whenever they go to book and they say, yeah, I thought I was going to win this in the golden ticket, so I didn't win it, so I wound up buying it. And they're just as excited about it whenever they're booking it to take the trip as they were when they bought it. So
100%.
Really fun stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, really good. I've got a winner, Trevor. Hey, I put it real quick. I put in the chat mybenefitauctioneer.com. Get your free book. Again, sorry that Dean couldn't be here. He was very upset that he had that conflict, but
it is the middle of event season, and he's a fundraising auctioneer.
It was a deal where he just couldn't make it, so he had to go take care of this other event and help some people raise money. We were like, bro, we go get it. Get a copy of his book, mybenefitauctioneer.com. And the winner is...
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, hey, if you don't mind me plugging it, we just dropped a really cool podcast with Dean where he does mention a little bit about the golden ticket strategy. 25-minute pod. Hey, nonprofits, raise more money. Wherever you consume podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, check that out. It's a podcast that we just dropped probably a week, 2 weeks ago tops, with Dean. So
it's really good. Really
yeah,
good.
check it out. It is really, really good. He shares a lot of really cool insights. So yep. All right. Sorry for interrupting.
I've got a winner.
Yep.
Rick Toon. Rick.
Hey, Rick.
You're the winner.
Cool.
Rick Toon, congratulations. Everybody give Rick a hand.
Right on, Rick. Hey, Rick, where are you from, brother? What organization, what area are you from? Thanks so much for coming, by the way. Really appreciate it. Yeah. We'll get that over to you. Our team, our marketing team will get you that item that you can use at your next event. And thanks everybody else for coming. Thanks for everybody in advance that's watching this online on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment, all that good stuff, whether you agree, disagree with the golden ticket or concept or not. And we appreciate you. We'll see you all next time.
Be back here next week. See ya.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you all.
See ya.
Bye now.